Fade in, exterior, town of Eastwick, dawn breaking in a September sky. The first rays of light cut through the night shadows, chasing the dark and revealing a picture postcard New England village, peaceful and just a little mysterious in its stillness. As the day begins, exterior, church steeple, day. In the town square, the bells are ringing. The town is awake now. Interior, workroom, day. A man's hands shape clay into the form of an ancient plump man. With the help of a butter knife and some toothpicks, a little doll emerges, 5 or 6 inches long, primitive, a little chubby, but clearly a man. Exterior, Sammy's house, day. Sammy Ridgemont is picking zucchini in his garden. In fact, the entire garden is overrun with this single vegetable. It looks like a jungle. And the zucchini are huge. He carries them like logs. Children are coming out of the house carrying school books and lunch pails. As Sammy Ridgemont hustles them into the car, he dumps zucchini into the back seat. Bobby examines one of the sandwiches from his pail.
What's this?
Peanut butter.
Peanut butter and what?
Peanut butter and jelly.
What kind of jelly?
Zucchini jelly. It's very good. You'll like it.
We had zucchini yesterday, too. We had zucchini all summer.
They drive away. Interior workroom, man's hands, day. Alexander Medford uses a toothpick to poke a navel into the clay figure and then just a hint of a cleft between the legs. Alex's 12-year-old son, Carl, is at the end of the table eating his breakfast and writing. He is shy, introverted, and slightly overweight.
You don't have to come today, if you don't want to.
Alex hurries to make a sandwich and eat.
No, sweetheart, I want to. It's just that I have a million things I have to do first.
Interior, gymnasium, day. John Spofford is conducting the grammar school band for the opening day assembly. The principal of the school, Wendy Neff, approaches him from behind. She has a bit of a lecherous look in her eyes. She stands uncomfortably close to John.
How are we doing?
Fine, Wendy. We're doing just fine.
I wish we could afford to keep you here full time.
So do I, Wendy. Especially now.
Yes. Is the divorce final yet?
Yeah. Today. Thank you.
Well, let's put our heads together. See if we can work something out.
Very discreetly, she pats him on the behind and moves off. John's eyes go wide. Exterior, elementary school, day. Fred Alden is singing America the Beautiful.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies.
John is leading the band as they try bravely to play the music. They hit some real clinkers, but Fred sings on undaunted and quite beautifully. Students, faculty, and parents, mostly fathers, listen. The band now comes to a startling finish. Everyone applauds. Fred bows. Then he shakes hands with John. John mimes an apology and returns to his seat. He is exhausted by the experience. Fred is unfazed by the playing of the band. He sits down happily. Wendy Neff comes forward and addresses the assembly.
Well, wonderful. Thank you. So generous that you would take time out of your busy schedule to be with us here today. Ladies and gentlemen, a big hand for our most prominent select woman, select man, or select person, Fred Alden. Thank you, children. I can see we have our work cut out for us.
John, listening to the principal with growing annoyance and boredom. He looks out over the audience. Sammy and his children are looking equally bored. Elsewhere in the audience, Alex is feeling the same.
In these days of disintegrating values and lost mores, when our children are exposed daily to the hazards of divorce and separation and families torn asunder, it is comforting to think back to the days.
John gazes towards the heavens. There aren't that many clouds in the sky, but the few that are there begin to move and grow in size.
When a family like the Lennox family strove together to subdue the Indians and the 1,000 catastrophes of the wilderness to establish our little village.
Kids are restless and yawning as Wendy drones on. Alex is checking his watch and then looking up at the sky. Sammy is yawning and then looking up at the sky. The sky is growing dark. The wind comes up out of nowhere.
A family without whose guidance and moral purpose Eastwick would never have survived the darker periods of New England history.
Thunder rolls in the sky, a sudden crack of lightning, and the rain starts to fall heavily. Everyone starts to scatter. Wendy continues to drone on as people run for cover. Exterior, Alex's house, night. Rain is falling hard now. Thunder and lightning play havoc in the black sky. Alex and John are running from their car to the house, screaming with laughter as the rain hits them. As Alex opens it for them, they rush into interior, Alex's house, night.
God, do you believe this? It's raining.
They shake themselves off, checking their hair in the mirror.
Since this morning.
At least it shut Wendy up.
Really, the same boring, sanctimonious speech.
I was praying for it. I thought, God, she's going to go on forever.
I know. I was thinking the same thing.
I was thinking she was all wet, and wouldn't it be nice if we could just get out of there?
Were you really?
And then it rained.
She's a liar and a lech, and she deserved it.
No, I'm talking about Wendy. I mean, don't you think it's kind of strange that...
So we were all thinking the same thing at the same time. So what? It's not like it's going to get us on David Letterman.
I know.
Let's have a drink.
Good idea, Johnny. Party, baby!
Interior, Alex's kitchen, night. Vodka is being poured into the pitcher, and then a splash of vermouth is added. There is a hint of ritual in the mixing of these drinks, as there often is when a martini is made. Sammy is spraying easy cheese on crackers.
She made a pass at me last week, too.
Wendy? Oh, God.
Be prepared. She doesn't give up easily.
Really? It was broad daylight, and her husband was like 10 feet away.
Poor man.
Poor man, my ass. Why does he put up with it? The woman is a Nazi.
Do you think they still...
Yes.
Really?
Once a week, she told me.
Yeah, right. She told you.
It's true. She said he has to have it once a week or he starts throwing things.
Well, at least somebody's getting something once a week.
Yeah, heartburn.
She sips a martini.
I keep forgetting how many calories are in these things.
I mean it. Even Wendy Neff is beginning to look good to me.
2 minutes on the lips, John.
Forever on the love handles.
Cheers.
They toast.
Cheers.
And congratulations.
That's right. I forgot. Your divorce.
Yeah, today I'm a free man.
Join the club.
They laugh and drink. A bolt of lightning seems to pass through the room. They jump and laugh even harder. Then John starts to cry. The other two embrace him.
I'm going to start all over again. I've been doing this all day.
Don't. Come on.
I know.
You're going to be okay, you know? It's a beginning, not an ending. Right, Alex?
Right.
Besides, we have each other.
I know.
Come on, honey. Have a little more martini.
Interior, Alex's living room, later. The men are very relaxed and a little drunk.
I don't know. I still feel like I'm being unfaithful, even if I just think about it.
Sammy, Mandy deserted you and left you with 5 kids.
6.
6. What is it with you two? His wife leaves him because he has too many kids? That's her problem. Yours leaves you because you can't have any.
You're definitely oversimplifying.
That's not the point, okay? What I'm saying is, it's not your fault.
We know it's not our fault, but it's just not that easy.
Well, I think we're a little young to just lock it up and throw away the key. It's not natural. What are we doing with ourselves? Harriet's dead. I loved her. She's dead. Does that mean I have to spend the rest of my life having drinks with you two every Thursday night?
I like our Thursday nights. It's the only time I get to, really relax.
Sure, quilting, macrame. What did we do last Thursday night?
Chinese aphrodisiac cooking.
Fabulous, stimulating. We're not relaxing. We're hiding.
What from?
Wendy Neff.
Fuck Wendy Neff. I'm not talking about her.
All right, who should we be looking for?
Somebody nice. Somebody you could like.
Somebody with a brain. Someone you could talk to.
Someone you could really be yourself with.
Someone to watch over me.
All right, all right, all right. I've had it with you two, okay?
Well, she'd definitely have to be from out of town.
Especially considering what's in town, Johnny.
A stranger. That would be interesting.
A tall, dark princess traveling under a curse.
In Eastwick?
Why not? A foreign princess riding a great black horse.
They laugh at him. Alex stirs his drink with an olive.
Okay, if we're going to have it, let's have it all.
Close on swirling liquid in the glass. Exterior country road night. A black Mercedes limousine is moving fast through the rain. As it rips out of frame, a flash of lightning illuminates a road sign which reads Eastwick. Interior, Alex's living room night.
Handsome. She should be handsome.
Not too handsome. Nice eyes.
Nice ass.
They laugh. Exterior, Lennox house night. Rising darkly and majestically in the storm, a great deserted mansion sitting by the sea. A black limo approaches the house. Interior, Sammy's living room.
Huge.
I prefer small. I do, aesthetically. Sally was huge, and there were days I just couldn't face him.
I'm sort of in the middle.
Exterior, Lennox house night. The Mercedes is still now. A chauffeur gets out and, carrying an umbrella, moves around the car to open the back door. A woman gets out. But both the woman and the chauffeur are concealed by the umbrella as they move toward the house. Interior, Sammy's living room.
Well, it's a nice thought, but wishing for it is not going to make it happen, is it?
No.
I don't think women are really the answer to everything.
No, but why do we always end up talking about them?
Interior, newspaper office day. Sammy is at his work desk, talking to Alex on the phone.
I said some woman has bought the Lennox mansion. Alex, did you hear me that time?
Yes, I heard you the first time. Who is she?
Well, she's from New York. No husband or family. She told the people at Pearly Realty she needed all that room for her pianos. Apparently she has a lot of pianos.
Interior, Alex's workroom day. Alex is hand painting a series of little pottery dolls.
How many pianos can a woman have?
I don't know. Do you think it's strange? I mean, funny.
What's her name?
That's strange too. They told me her name for the column, and I forgot it. So I called them back and they told me again, and it's gone right out of my head again. It's not like me to forget a name like that. Anyway, it's the big news of the day, considering the history of the place. I wonder if she knows.
Claire and Fred come into the office and wave hello as they pass Sammy. Sammy smiles and waves back.
Who's that? Claire and Fred?
Interior office, Sammy, day.
Yeah, I'll call you back, okay? Claire, I have this culinary piece. Hi, Fred.
Cheeseburger patty. You have your column finished?
Yes, around the town and Senior Citizens News. And I'm still working on the toxic waste article, but I'll probably have it down this afternoon. Oh, did you hear that someone bought the Lennox mansion?
Fred gasps and drops his mug and vase on the floor, which shatter into pieces. He turns to look at Sammy with shock in his eyes. Interior, office, later.
That house is a landmark building. They had no right to sell it.
I can't do anything about that.
No, you're too busy reporting the last minutes of the Horse Trough Committee and Herbie Prescott's latest trip to Bermuda. And what's going to happen to those birds now? Tell me that.
What birds?
The snowy egrets. Where are they going to nest?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Fred, what is the matter? Honey, it's only a house. Why are you so upset?
I have this feeling, Claire, the most terrible feeling. Something's happening, Claire. Something evil.
Interior, gift shop, the Yapping Fox, day. Alex is talking to Mr. Biddle, the owner of the shop. He is in his 80s. Mr. Biddle and Alex are taking the dolls from the box and putting them on the display shelf.
Well, I'm glad they're selling.
But they're not actually selling. They sold, just like that.
I don't get it.
Well, darling, you know how I adore the little creatures. So fine, so unreal, and yet the detail. Little fingers and little toes and little pudenda making a bump in their bellies. so sweet. But honestly, nobody's even looked at them sideways for months. And then this morning, from absolutely nowhere, this woman appeared. So charming. Not really attractive, but riveting. Yes, that's the word. I was riveted. I was looking into her eyes, and I found myself thinking thoughts I hadn't entertained since World War II. I think I actually blushed. Can you imagine?
No. But, well, yes. I mean, so what happened? She bought one.
She bought all of them. Every single one. How about that?
Well, who was she? A tourist?
No, she just bought the Lennox house. She's moving in.
You don't, by any chance, remember her name, do you?
Yes, of course. Her name is, she told me. I wrote it down. It was, foreign? No, but it sounded it's right on the tip of my tongue, and I can't. Well, isn't that diabolical?
Interior church meeting hall night. John is on the small stage of the little hall. He is playing the cello. Pull back to include the other three members of a string quartet. None of them play with the skill of John, but they are not bad. Alex and Sammy are seated in an audience of about 100 people on folding chairs. Like the other members of the audience, they are listening attentively. And then a sound, like heavy breathing, almost inaudible at first, and then slightly louder. Alex notices it first. He tries to ignore it. John is playing hard into the climax of the piece. The sound again, a long rumble of breath, like a death rattle or a growl of a sleeping animal. John doesn't seem to hear it. The sound spurts loudly for a second and then settles back into the strange adenoidal rumbling. It doesn't sound human. Alex cranes his head in the direction of the menacing sound. Heads are turning as we pass them and finally arrive at the comic sight of Darla Van Horn asleep in her chair, her head lolling on her shoulder, her mouth open, drooling, and emitting the strangest and most sickening sound of snoring possible. Contrary to our expectations, she looks like a harmless sort of gal, ordinary, disheveled, and, at first sight, not particularly attractive. The quartet finishes the piece they are playing. The audience bursts into applause. Startled by the audience, Darla falls to the floor with a great clatter and bang of folding chairs. John is bowing to the audience. Above the audience, the sound of one person shouting, "Brava!" John looks into the direction of the sound. On her feet now, Darla is applauding and shouting, "Brava!" in the middle of the aisle. John smiles. Interior, church foyer, night. A large area at the top of 2 flights of stairs. A reception is in progress after the concert. Cheese and wine in plastic cups.
And then she shows up here?
Yeah, making googly eyes at John.
Didn't I tell you? Oh, God, that's right. It was after I talked to you. Well, the paper called her and asked to interview her, about the house and all the renovations, and she said she'd be happy to do an interview. And then she asked for me. I mean, she wanted me to do the interview.
Yeah, but who is she?
Angle, Fred, and Claire.
Well, she must have a name.
She does. I just can't remember it.
Angle, Alex, and Sammy.
Why would she ask for you?
Because I'm good at it. Really, you give me credit for being so stupid sometimes.
Angle, Mr. Biddle, and Man.
Yes, she was in my shop.
Well, who is she?
Well, I don't know, but she is charming.
Angle, Alex, and Sammy.
I didn't mean that you were stupid. I mean, how would she know? How would she even know who you were?
I don't know. I don't know anything about her.
Angle, Wendy Neff, and Mr. Neff.
Apparently, she bought the Lennox house just like that.
From New York?
Yeah, but she has some kind of foreign name. Van something.
John approaches Sammy and Alex. He is carrying a small bouquet of flowers and looking radiant. He keeps moving until he reaches Sammy and Alex.
How sweet.
They're from her, with a personal note.
Just the initial D.
Yes, that's it. D.
David.
No, it has an R in it.
Doberman? Drake?
No, and an L. LD something. R something. L. That's it. Darla.
As he says the name, Sammy's bracelet beads break and fall to the floor.
Damn.
The beads roll across the floor. Alex starts trying to retrieve them. Wendy suddenly remembers.
Van Horn.
Mr. Biddle also remembering suddenly.
Yes.
Claire also remembers her name.
Darla Van Horn. That's her name.
Well, really, what kind of name is that?
She turns and starts to walk away from Claire.
Darla!
But before she can finish the name, she slips on the beads and starts to fall down the stairs, falling as the word Darla echoes like a scream through the air. And then silence, except for the beads trickling down the stairs. Fred lies at the bottom of the stairs. He raises his head slightly and mutters,
I think I broke my leg.
Interior, Alex's house, day. Alex is sitting at his kitchen table having a cup of coffee. In a pile of sugar, he is writing a stylized letter D. Exterior, road, day. Alex rides his bike through the marsh. In the distance, the Lennox house can be seen perched near the sea, surrounded by fields of grass and sand dunes. She stops to look at it.
Looking for me?
What?
Darla is standing beside him.
I said, are you looking for me? Or is this just a happy coincidence?
No, I was just...
Just looking.
Well...
Too bad. You haven't seen any snowy egrets out here, have you?
Not that I know of.
Neither have I. Not that I'd know a snowy egret if I was pissing on one. Want some lunch?
I think it's a little late in the season.
For lunch?
No, pissing on birds.
Darla smiles and offers her hand.
Darla Van Horn.
Alexander Medford.
You're the local sculptor, the one who makes little penis dolls.
They're just little things.
Little, yeah, but potent. Full of juice. Potent. You can feel it when you pick them up. I sent a couple down to New York. I have a friend down there.
She turns and starts to walk away toward the house as she talks. Alex is not sure what to do. Then he decides to follow her.
Runs a gallery. Nice, relaxed, terrific guy. Wanted to hear what he had to say about it. Of course, the scale is all wrong. You need to work bigger. Let yourself go. Get some size into it. Do you like fish? We're having fish for lunch.
Exterior, terrace of house, day. An elaborate table set with fine china and crystal. Alex and Darla are seated at the table. Fatima is clearing the plates. Darla pours more wine. Fatima goes.
Interesting, huh?
What? Oh.
Fatima, that's her name. Men love her. They're crazy about her.
Really?
She has big tits. Huge. Well, there you are. Scale again. Size. Maybe it's a feminine thing. They say men don't care. I'm sort of in the middle myself. How about you?
How about me what?
You see, men are in touch with different things. That's my opinion. I know it's not a fashionable opinion right now, but fuck it. I don't know. I know what I see. I see women running around trying to make things happen, but it's men who are the source, the only power, nature, birth, rebirth. Cliche, cliche, sure, but true.
Why are you telling me this?
Because you're an honest man, and I'm being honest with you. I like men. I admire them. But if you want me to talk to you like you're a dumb twit, I will. But what's the point? You have brains, Alex. More than brains, and you don't even know it, do you? Well, most men don't.
Are you married?
Good question, you see? Brains. The answer is no. Don't believe in it. Good for the woman, lousy for the man. He suffocates. He dies. I've seen it. And then the wife runs around complaining that she's fucking a dead person and she's the one that killed him. Where's your wife?
Dead.
Well, sorry, but you're one of the lucky ones. When a man unloads a wife, or when a wife unloads a man, however it happens, death, desertion, divorce, the 3 Ds, when it happens, a man blooms, he blossoms, like flowers, like fruit. He's ripe. That's the man for me. Would you like to see my house?
Yes.
Interior, house, day. Alex and Darla moving through the cavernous rooms of the house. They are sparsely furnished. Some are empty. Some have painters working. A carpenter seems to appear from nowhere and then disappear. Darla babbles on, giving Alex a tour of her belongings.
In case anyone ever needed any exercise, the pool is right over there past the pianos, where the ballroom used to be. Interesting word. Ballroom.
Always been one of my favorites.
And over there is the study.
Interior, bedroom. Alex and Darla coming into the room. As Darla speaks, Fatima enters the room. She is carrying a black silk bathrobe. Unselfconsciously, Darla slips out of her clothing and into the robe, with Fatima's assistance. Alex stands watching all this.
This is my bedroom. The Borgias once owned the bed. Of course, you have to pay for it with your soul, but hell, I deserve a little luxury. You have to take care of yourself. Nobody's going to do that for you, are they?
Excuse me, what exactly do you think you're doing?
I'm being as direct as I know how. I thought you'd appreciate that. And anyways, I always like a little dicking after lunch. What do you say?
Are you trying to seduce me?
No, I wouldn't dream of seducing you, Alexander. I wouldn't insult your intelligence with anything as trivial as seduction. But I would love to fuck you.
Close on Alex.
Well, I have to admit that I appreciate your directness, Darla, and I will try to be direct and honest with you too. I know, I am absolutely sure that you are the most unattractive woman I have ever met in my entire life. In the short time that we've been together, you have demonstrated every loathsome characteristic of the female personality and even discovered a few new ones. You are physically repulsive, intellectually retarded, you're morally reprehensible, vulgar, insensitive, selfish, stupid, you have no taste and a lousy sense of humor. And you smell. I mean, you're not even interesting enough to make me sick.
Darla sits in the bed smiling.
Do you like to be on top or the bottom?
Goodbye, Darla. Thanks for lunch.
She turns to go.
Well, if that's the way you feel about it, then that's the way you feel about it.
Alex stops. She turns to face him.
Is that the way you feel about it?
Who are you?
Just your average horny little devil.
I have to get home.
Darla's tone changes. Suddenly, she is calm, quiet, direct, and very gentle, and painfully accurate. She gets up and walks to Alex.
Who have you got to go home to, Alex? There isn't anybody there. The kid can take care of himself. He'll grab some food, fall asleep on his bed doing his homework. I promise. And house cleaning, well, you clean up the dirt, there'll be some more tomorrow. Make the beds, they'll just have to be made again tomorrow. Wash the dishes. There's more to wash tomorrow.
I have to...
Make dinner. It just gets eaten, doesn't it? You've done your best, Alex. You've done the husband bit, the fatherhood bit, the garden club, the carpools, cocktail parties, coffee with the neighbor in the morning, a couple drinks, a couple pills, a little psychoanalysis. Where are you now, Alex?
I'm exactly where I want to be, and I'm doing fine.
Pretending to be somebody else? Pretending to be half of what you are? How long can you last like that? The world keeps growing. You feed it, but it doesn't feed you, does it? It washes through you, wasted down the drain. Man is a whole. Isn't that what they say? All the futility of the world pouring into it. How much can you take, Alex? How much can you take before you snap?
Alex is dizzy. The truth of what he's saying is hurting.
Lying on your bed, looking at the ceiling, waiting for something to happen, and knowing all the time that you were meant for something better, feeling it, wanting it. Use me, fill me up. I can take it. Make it happen. No, don't wait. Time is a killer. Make it happen. Do it, Alex. Do it now.
Music swells and Alex lunges for her, kissing Darla passionately in an embrace. Interior, John's house, day. John is playing his cello. Interior, hospital room. Fred is trussed up in bed with his leg in a cast. Claire is spoon-feeding him lunch.
You sit there in that pathetic excuse of a newspaper reporting gossip while under your very nose evil is doing its worst. You have no spine, Claire. Not 1 ounce of morality, ethics, good Christ, even common sense. Nuclear holocaust, murder, rape, apartheid. These words mean nothing to you.
It's just a local newspaper, Fred.
Local turpitude. You're a failure, Claire. You should be strung up along with that bitch who bought that house. Oh, call the nurse.
Interior hospital room later. Fred is screaming at the nurse who is trying to give him a pill. Claire and the doctor are watching.
I am in pain.
Then take a pill.
Fred swallows the pill. The nurse leaves the room. The doctor takes Claire aside.
Is it some kind of Alzheimer's?
No, it's the bone marrow. When the bone breaks, you get a little bits of fat that get into the bloodstream and into the capillaries in the brain. It affects the behavior.
But he's hysterical. He says these things. Where do they come from?
Yes, he'll say things and be very paranoid. It's normal. It will pass.
Interior hospital corridor day. Sammy is coming out of an elevator. She is carrying a plant which is now magically in full bloom, flowering beautifully. Interior hospital room day. Fred is half conscious.
I open my mouth and the strangest things come out.
My goodness, you've had a hard time.
He stops suddenly. He looks confused.
Something's inside me.
It's all right, Fred.
Something's crawling inside me. I can feel it. Something evil. It's almost here.
Sammy is coming into the room with the plant.
Hi.
Fred looks at Sammy with a growing horror. She looks paralyzed with fear.
You. There. In there!
Fred screams. Cut quickly to interior John's house day. John is playing the cello feverishly. Suddenly, one of the strings breaks. He stops playing. He looks at his hand. There's a little bit of blood on his fingertip. The doorbell rings. Exterior John's house, front door, day. The door opens to reveal John's surprised face, and then Darla is standing on the doorstep carrying a violin case.
John, at last we meet. Darla Van Horn.
Interior, John's house, evening. Under a quaint white trellis, Darla and John are having tea. John is trying to preserve a civilized atmosphere.
Cream? Sugar?
Sugar.
1 lump or 2?
4.
Sweet tooth.
Sweet everything. I'm a sugar junkie. Sugar, chocolate, Coca-Cola. Uncontrollable appetite in every department.
It's not good for you.
Doesn't bother me. I have a supernatural constitution. It's genetic. Anyway, all this health conscious shit, pardon the language, but what the hell? I see gals 60, 70 years old breaking their backs, trying to stay fit. What for? When I die, I want to be sick, not healthy.
Well, that's one way of looking at it.
Do I make you nervous?
God, yes, you do. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said that. I just did. It just came out.
Truth is best.
Yes, I suppose. So, what brings you to Eastwick?
We're going to have a polite conversation.
I'm sorry.
I don't mind. I came to Eastwick because I was drawn here. I needed a place to settle down, and I like the house.
It has a history, you know.
Garbage.
No, it's true. They used to burn people there. Witches.
Hocus pocus. Do you know what the whole witchcraft scare? Christ. As far back as the 14th century, it was started by the medical profession. That's right. We're trying to get the childbirth business out of the hands of the midwives. Most of the women were burned. Midwives.
Is that true?
You better believe it. It's just another example of masculine-dominated professional society exploiting females for their own selfish purposes. Men are cocksuckers, aren't they?
Well,
You don't have to answer that. It's true. They're scared. Their dicks get limp when they're confronted by a woman of obvious power. And what do about it? They call them witches. They burn them. They torture them until every woman is afraid. Afraid of herself, afraid of men. And for what? Fear of losing their heart on? Let's play some music.
Interior, John's living room, night. Darla's playing the violin with passion. John is hypnotized. Darla stops playing.
you play beautifully.
Nothing compared to you. You are an artist.
She becomes very seductive.
Intonation, vibrato, stretch. You think I'm crazy, but I know music. It's the one thing that makes me humble.
Not prissy? Our leader keeps saying my intonation is prissy.
You have precision. That's not prissy. Precision is the foundation of passion. Passion without precision? Chaos. Look at your thumb, your sublime thumb position. You really keep the pressure on, don't you?
She caresses his thumb.
Most men can't, but you, this is the most beautiful callus.
John is melting, but Darla suddenly grabs his other hand.
But this hand, this is your failure. Your bowing sucks.
My bowing? Why?
Your spiccato sounds like marcato. Your legato like Detache. You kill the passion. Let it go. What are you holding back for? You're not just playing notes, they're phrases, human outcries.
I practiced till my fingers bled. All those 16th notes in the Allegro, I just can't do it.
Yes, you can.
Darla kneels down and puts her hand on John's knees, pulling them apart. He resists until Darla puts the cello between his trembling thighs.
Try it. Let it go. What are you afraid of? You have great passion. If you let it out, I can take it. I want it.
He starts to play. Darla coaches him.
Yes, that's it. Relax. Breathe into it. Don't tighten up. Feel it. All of it. Taste it. Yeah, that's right. Now.
Darla plays the piano with him.
That's right. You feel that? Let it wash over you. Let it take you.
John is moving into a state of sexual ecstasy. The strings are actually beginning to smoke as John's bow rips across them. As the music finally ends, silent except for John's heavy breathing, they look at each other. John lets the cello slide to the floor. It bursts into flames. John pays no attention to it. He gets up. He walks unsteadily to Darla, and then he falls into her arms. They kiss passionately as the piano lid slams and thunder crashes outside. Exterior, Alex's house, day. Sammy pulls up to Alex's house and gets out of the car with Bobby and Marky and the other children. Sammy is dressed in tennis clothes. Interior, Alex's house, day. Alex is working with hammer and chisel on a great 10-foot piece of stone that sits in the middle of the backyard. He is dressed like a construction worker, helmet, goggles, coveralls, tool belt, boots, etc.
Alex, yoo-hoo.
Not here.
Coming out the back door of the house is Alex.
What in the world?
Come on. We're going to be late. Carl, I left the number on the fridge.
Not dressed.
I'm not naked.
Through the door to the backyard, we can see a colossal version of Alex's statue in progress. Interior, car, Sammy and Alex, day, cycling through the town to Darla's house.
I don't believe it.
Neither do I, but it isn't a dream. I could barely walk for 2 days. She has the most amazing vagina. It bends the wrong way.
What do you mean it bends the wrong way? Wait a minute, what?
I mean, it kind of bends like that.
You're terrible.
No, I'm not. I'm fabulous.
Okay. Just because you went to bed with her.
No. It's more than that. She knows me. It's not just me. She knows everything. And I can't wait for you to meet her. I want John to meet her too, because John's going to love her.
Exterior, Lennox house, day. A man is lying on a chaise longue. A drink dangles from his hand. He wears tennis shorts. His chest is bare. His skin is gleaming in the sun. He is an image of sensuality. He gets up and removes his sunglasses, and we see that the man, in fact, is John. Sammy and Alex approach.
John? Is that you?
Sammy, Alexander, did you come to fix the plumbing?
I didn't have time to change. What's your excuse?
I don't need any. I was invited here.
So was I.
Angle, Darla, coming toward them with open arms.
There you are. Hello.
Alex and John both face Darla, each expecting her to come to him.
Hi. Are we late?
I thought we were playing singles.
But Darla walks between them goes directly to Sammy.
Sammy, at last we meet.
Hi. Hello. How are you?
Let me look into those eyes. My, you are a fertile little creature, aren't you?
Well, thanks, I think.
Alex and John are taken aback by Darla's behavior. She is totally ignoring them.
I've been reading that rag of a newspaper. You're a genius. Wasted. Pearls before swine. When are we going to do that little interview? I love interviews. So intimate.
Whenever you say.
Just the two of us banging away head to head. Yes. Yes, but not today. Today is for tennis.
She leads Sammy toward the tennis court. As she passes Alex and John,
Are you ready, gentlemen?
no answer. Darla walks on with her arm around Sammy's shoulder.
Oh, what a day. What a day.
He sniffs the air, then to Sammy.
Is that your perfume?
Exterior tennis court day. The game is in progress. Sammy and Alex are partners against Darla and John. The ball goes very wide, directly at Sammy.
Double fault!
I'm not blind and I'm not deaf, so there's no need to shout.
Okay, okay. Now we're all good friends here. Let's play fair.
I always play fair. Love 40, John.
Okay, okay.
Okay. What are you talking about?
Don't let him rattle you.
Angle, ball in play. Sammy returns the serve to Darla. Darla, who is at the net, hits the ball to Alex. Alex, rushing the net, slams it back to John. John smashes a return to Sammy, hitting him in the head. Sammy staggers and recovers.
All right, John, that's enough.
1540.
John bounces the ball in front of him, winding up in preparation for a killer serve to Alex. He instead serves it full speed into Darla's back.
Ow! Sorry, darling. Lost my head.
Sammy smiles.
Fault.
John serves again and hits Alex. Another serve and the game progresses. Sammy hits it high into the air and the ball stays there. John is waiting and waiting for the ball to return. John moves in, preparing for a devastating smash, but the ball seems to freeze in midair high above him.
It's not coming down.
The ball drops on his head. Sammy laughs at him and John shoots daggers with his eyes.
All right. Come on.
Our game, Sammy serves.
John hits the ball to Alex. Game progresses until Darla and Sammy wind up hitting the ball back and forth at high speed between their rackets.
Stop.
The ball stops midair right in front of Sammy's face. He slowly walks around it and finally hits the ball back. Game progresses in slow motion until Darla hits it so hard into the sky that it disappears. Then a sudden rainstorm starts up. Darla raises her arms to the thundering heavens and yells gleefully,
Maleficio!
Darla and the men run back to the house. Interior, house, indoor pool, night. Floating majestically through the gargantuan swimming pool, music is playing, steam is rising off the water, pulled back to include the tub. Big enough to accommodate Darla, John, Alex, and Sammy, all of whom are luxuriating in the pool. Darla is in the water, floating next to Sammy.
This drink is strong. What is it?
Rum, vodka, brandy, acid. Only kidding.
I don't mind. Drugs have no effect on me. Neither does alcohol. It's true. Boring, but true. Are you going to seduce me too?
Yes.
How?
I don't know.
I should warn you. I'll get you pregnant. I get women pregnant all the time. At the drop of a hat. I could borrow your toothbrush and you get pregnant.
I'll keep that in mind.
That doesn't bother you?
No,
You're not like other women, are you?
I'm not.
Most women, well, my wife, trying to keep everything under control, pretending everything is normal, always very rational, always an explanation for everything. Women need that, don't they? They need to feel that everything is solid and the truth is the world is just not like that.
Certainly not with you three around.
I don't think we're more different than other men. I mean, women are more rational, aren't they? And nature is crazy no matter what the science books tell you, so I don't mind.
Don't mind what?
When peculiar things happen. It's natural, because the world is a very peculiar place.
And you're a very peculiar person.
Thank you.
I'd love to be a man.
You would? Really? Why?
Just look what you can do with your bodies, I mean.
Who are you, really?
Anybody you want me to be.
She kisses him. They sink under the water. Interior, Lennox house, day. Montage! Darla, John, Sammy are diving into the foyer full of pink balloons. They dance around with a wheeled cart, taking turns with Darla. As she spins John around on the top of the cart, she lets go and the cart zooms out of the foyer and right into the pool. When it hits the edge, John launches into the air and grabs onto the massive chandelier over the water. They all laugh as Darla's dog barks at him. Suddenly, they float into the air, laughing more. John lets go and joins them in the air. Darla kneels down next to her dog.
Look what they can do. These are human beings.
Fatima enters and rings a bell. The men, startled, drop into the water. Interior, Lennox house, later. The three men are lying on a blanket in matching white robes.
You know when you're a kid and you don't understand anything and everything is really confusing, and when you grow up, it's all going to somehow make sense, and then you keep waiting for the day? Do you think it'll ever happen?
It starts when you open your eyes and you finally understand what the future has in store for you.
Darla is filming them with a camcorder, wearing pajamas and a bowler.
And what do you see when you open your eyes?
Well, it's a short life. And sometimes I look in the mirror and I see everything disintegrating faster.
I always see snakes. I do. Hundreds of them, and they're crawling all over me. I disappear, and then I'm just not there anymore.
Well, I don't mind that it's a short life, and growing old or disappearing doesn't bother me, but it's the pain that scares me. I don't know why there has to be so much pain.
Well, we don't deal the deck down here. We just play the percentages.
Interior, church, day. The congregation is singing a hymn. Fred is there. He stands up using crutches.
Whores.
Claire is sitting next to him. She tugs at his sleeve. What?
Whores.
Gradually, everyone stops singing. They all look at Fred.
Whores.
Claire sinks.
Look around you. You see what is happening?
Fred, please.
In our town, in our very homes.
Claire gets up and starts to lead Fred out of the church. He still has a cast on his foot.
Oh, you know who I'm talking about. You know what's going on in that house. Vice, perversions, shamelessness, cavorting with that devil.
He's all right. He's fine.
Drugs will be next. Murder, incest, rape, Spanish flies, dildos, anal intercourse. Listen to me, please.
Exterior, church, day. Claire physically drags Fred out of the church.
Come on, Fred, let's just go home.
You employ one of them, Claire.
Fred, it is nobody's business.
That's everybody's business.
Okay, I'll get the car.
Once there was a paradise, and then a serpent came into the garden.
Oh, for Christ's sake, Fred, stop. Just please stop.
Oh, Claire, I have nothing against a good fuck, but there's danger here. And somebody has to do something about it.
Interior, gymnasium, day. John is listening to the terrible grammar school band practice. He can't seem to take it anymore.
Okay, stop. Stop! Let's just get rid of the music. Come on, throw it away.
He tosses the music sheets into the air, including the kids' papers.
That's it. Right. Okay. Now, I want you all to close your eyes, take a deep breath, let it all out. Now we're going to pick up our instruments, and when I count to 4, we're going to play the shit out of this thing. 1, 2, 3, 4.
They begin to play, on time, in tune, slowly but with more confidence. John throws away his baton.
That's it. Take it easy. Good. Nice. Smile. Smile, Martha. Come on, this is easy. Easy peasy. Good. Just let it flow. Good. Tickle you now. Tickle, 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 tickle. Good. You got it now. Come on. Go with it. Come on.
Wendy comes in from the hallway to see what the sound is. John is twirling around and the kids are dancing while playing, and the music is perfect. She backs out of the room horrified and runs down the hallway. Interior, Eastwick Central Market, day. John is strolling through the aisle with tight pink hot pants and shades, eating pickles out of a jar. Everyone is staring at him. He gravitates towards another customer and grabs a chocolate bar.
Double chocolate. These are fabulous.
As he saunters up to the cashier, he grabs a local newspaper as all the men leer at him. The headline says, "Lennox House Scandals." John freezes.
Are you buying the paper or not?
Slut.
What did you say?
You heard him.
All the men are judging him with their eyes. The cashier just nods in agreement. John uncomfortably leaves his items and walks out of the store.
He's not even wearing underwear.
Interior, Claire's office, day. Lying on Claire's desk is a newspaper with the headline reading, "Lennox House Scandals."
How could you do this, Claire?
We didn't mention any names except for this Van Horn woman.
Claire, you don't know what's going on up there.
Oh, Sammy, the whole town is talking about you and your friends.
This is so unfair, and it's also untrue.
No, she filled in the wetlands and she ruined it for the birds. And she altered the landmark building, and the town's suing her for $2 million. It's all true.
What about me, Claire? How can you do this to me? I worked very hard and I'm a good writer. You know that.
All right, Sammy, look. I don't own this newspaper, you know?
Fred. It's Fred, isn't it?
He's a very sick man, Sammy. He's having a bad time and I don't know what to do. I want him to see a doctor. Not a doctor, but a doctor. We went to high school together. I mean, he was a catch. Ever since the accident, he just hasn't been the same. And now...
I'm so sorry, Claire.
What am I doing?
Firing me?
All these terrible things they're saying, they're not true, are they?
He doesn't answer. Interior, Darla's dining room in the Lennox house, night. John, Alex, and Sammy are seated around the table. Darla is serving them coffee. The men are very upset.
Maybe we should just stop seeing each other for a while.
Oh, let's not overreact.
Yes, let's not overreact.
I think we should.
You don't understand, Darla. It's a small town.
Fatima brings a great bowl of cherries to the table. Darla passes it around and they all start eating them.
We have not done anything wrong. Why should we stop seeing each other?
Claire says Fred has visions. She says he sees the devil here in Eastwick.
Why would he bother? I mean, if you were the devil, would you come to Eastwick?
Oh, I don't know. Poor Fred.
He spits out a cherry pit.
Poor Fred? Poor Fred? Darling, he's talked to the fathers of every one of my students. I've had 12 cancellations this week.
I've lost my job. People are telling Carl his father's a fag.
You're being sued for, I don't know how many millions.
Yes, that is inconvenient.
This man is not kidding with his medieval morality. I just think Sammy's right. Maybe we should just stop.
Maybe he should stop.
Oh, you guys can't be serious. We're a family.
Just for a little while, until things settle down.
Don't let him get to you. Have a cherry.
They each grab a cherry from an absurdly large bowl filled with them. Interior, Claire's living room, night. Fred and Claire are sitting in front of the fire. Claire is reading the newspaper and drinking heavily. Fred is doing needlepoint.
I'm trying to tell you, they're selling pornography at Skylar's news shop, in the open, on the shelves. Children are looking at this.
He gags. He tries to continue speaking, but it's as if he has a marble in his mouth.
Standing in broad daylight.
I cannot understand one word you're saying. Not one.
I said.
His hand goes to his mouth. He spits something from his mouth into his hand. It's a cherry pit. Fred looks at it in horror.
Filth in broad daylight.
Right.
Interior, Darla's pool house, night. Darla floats in the pool with a bowl of cherries on her lap. John, Alex, and Sammy are all eating cherries and tossing the pits and stems into the bowl.
He made a scene today at Skylar's, grabbing magazines from kids and chasing them out of the store.
I think she's in pain. And Claire, too. She started drinking.
He's twisted, okay? I mean, getting to me through my kid is sick.
Maybe we could help.
Maybe we could put him out of his misery.
John, don't.
Oh, please. All of this moaning. They're lucky to have each other. If they don't appreciate that, I have no sympathy for them.
That's so easy for you to say. You don't have any kids. You don't have a family.
You're my family. I don't want to lose it.
I just can't stand to see you upset. You don't know what it does to me.
Wish he would just go away.
They drift into the thought. Darla looks at them sadly. Then,
Have another cherry.
John bites into one and tosses the stem into the bowl. Interior, Claire's living room, night. Fred plucks a stem from his teeth. As much as he can, he continues working on his needlepoint, paying little attention to the things coming out of his mouth.
She's trying to get inside me, Claire. She's trying to use me. And these men, she's using them too. She wants to get inside of us and take our goodness.
Mm-hmm.
She wants to get inside me, Claire. Just like a woman. Tickle, 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 tickle. God made us into the image of goodness, and look what we've become.
He rubs his crotch erotically.
Mm-hmm.
Fred lunges towards Claire and stops.
Animals gone mad, devouring the earth and each other. Eat, 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 eat.
Fred lunges at her face and then pulls away. Claire falls over.
Okay, Fred. Take it easy. Calm down.
I know who she is, Claire.
Suddenly, a stream of cherry pits comes pouring out of his mouth. Finally, Claire notices.
Fred, what have you been eating?
Oh, those poor men. I have to warn them. She will propagate, Claire. She will increase her number. Those men are going to bear her daughters. She'll take their love and continue to destroy the earth with.
Another stream of cherry pits splatters from his mouth.
Let's call it a day.
Fred seems to growl and then spews forth a great fountain from his mouth of cherries, cherry pits, and stems. And then, sort of haphazardly, as if she were just putting him back in his chair, she raises the poker and brings it down on his head, over and over. Claire sits back down in her chair. Then she sips her drink and goes back to reading her paper. Exterior, Claire's house, day. Several police cars, an ambulance, and several unmarked cars are in the driveway and parked in front. Police and detectives are hanging around the property, drinking coffee and going in and out of the house casually. A small number of people are scattered on the street. Not a crowd, just a few curious and probably shocked neighbors, milling in groups of twos and threes. Sammy stands farther down the street, away from the others. He stares at the house. Sammy sees Alex and John coming towards him. He starts to cry. Alex puts his arms around Sammy.
I don't believe it. I know her, Alex. She couldn't do this.
Come on, don't.
No, Alex, don't you get it?
Get what?
Us, last night. All that talk.
Sammy, that's just talk. Those are just words.
No, they're not. They make things happen. We make things happen.
We didn't have anything to do with this.
Yes, we do.
Look, maybe we should talk to Darla.
Why? Why do we have to do everything Darla says? What's happening to us?
He's right, John.
Don't start with me, Alex.
Can't we think for ourselves anymore? Some woman comes along and nothing else matters.
I didn't say that. All I said...
Sure, run to Darla.
If you're gonna start being jealous...
Jealous?
Just because she happens to spend more time with me.
God, you really are dumb, John.
All I said is let's call her.
Can't you stop thinking from between your legs for 1 minute?
You son of a bitch.
Alex, please.
Oh, shut up, Sammy, for Christ's sake.
Will you get off of him?
You're the one who introduced me to her. You're the one who dragged me over there. I didn't want to go. I never wanted to go. I hate you. I hate you both.
Try using your heads for once, will you? Any little thing happens and the first thing you do is get hysterical. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of both of you.
You never really did like me, did you, Alex? Always just putting up with me. Always so superior. I don't need that. I don't need either one of you.
The heat of the argument and the force of these last words creates a faint rumble under the ground where they are standing. They look down and see the pavement cracks, a thin hairline crack that spreads swiftly in a line running between 3 men, separating each one from the other. They freak out and run away in separate directions. Interior, dining room, Lennox house, night. Darla is sitting alone at the head of the table. The table is set for 4. Darla checks her watch. Fatima comes into the room. She places a telephone on the table next to Darla.
Anybody call?
No answer. Darla picks up the phone and starts dialing. Interior, Alex's house, night. Alex lies in bed. A telephone starts to ring. He picks it up.
Hello,
Hi.
Darla.
Yeah, remember me? How you doing?
I'm fine, Darla. What do you want?
Oh, nothing. I just called to see how you're doing, see how you were, see, what's going on.
Well, I'm fine.
Well, good. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to be sure you're okay. Make sure you don't have any uncontrollable desire to see me, in case you're really missing me and we're, too embarrassed to call. I thought it'd make it easier if I called first, and that way you could still feel superior and get to see me at the same time. What do you say?
I don't feel superior. I feel terrible.
Well, I feel terrible too. So if we both feel terrible, can't we do something about it? I mean, what's going on here? Nobody calls me. Nobody comes to see me.
I think we need some time. We just need some time, okay?
No, it's not okay, Alex. I don't understand.
Somebody died, Darla. Fred is dead.
Yeah, well, people die all the time. He was in a pretty bad way. What's that got to do with us?
I can't talk to you, all right? Don't call me because...
Alex, don't hang up. Don't do this. Alex, this is not fair, Alex.
He hangs up. Interior, Lennox house, night. Darla is left holding the phone. She scratches her nails into the table in frustration, leaving long, deep lines. Exterior, Sammy's front door, day. Darla is outside in the rain, knocking. The door opens to reveal Sammy's surprised face.
Darla,
Happy birthday.
She holds a gift basket.
it's not my birthday.
It's not? Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh, well, what the hell. Happy whatever day it is. These are my favorite fruit.
He doesn't let her in.
I can't accept those, Darla.
I'm freezing my tits off out here.
He goes quickly inside and slams the door. Darla's expression turns from disappointment to anger. She gets in the car and it drives away. Exterior, John's house, day. Darla knocks on the door in the rain, but no one answers. Fatima stands nearby with another basket. Eventually, Darla opens the screen door and sticks a piece of sheet music into the front door. There is a large red letter D signed on it. Exterior, Lennox house, night. John rings the doorbell, excitedly touching his stomach as he waits for an answer. Exterior, Lennox house, night. Darla sits in a reclining chair in a robe and scarf, looking feverish and disheveled. She is watching the videos she made of the boys on the wall of screens. John is let in by Fatima, and as he approaches Darla, he sees himself on the screens. His smile fades as he listens to his own words coming from the TV.
Sometimes I look in the mirror and I see everything disintegrating faster and faster.
The fruit on the table next to Darla quickly ages and rots. John looks at his hands, which are now wrinkled and old. He turns and quickly shuffles away in terror. The video moves to Alex, who is talking about snakes and fading away.
Alex!
John runs out of the house. Interior, Alex's house, Alex, night. close on Alex's sleeping face. A snake slowly slithers up his arm and into his hair. His eyes open and he screams. He throws off the bed covers and sees dozens of boas, pythons, and garter snakes slithering all over his legs. Leaping out of bed, Alex races out the front door, still screaming, and bumps right into John. John tries to catch him and calm him down.
It's me, Alex. It's me. Look, just let it go. Let it go. Look at me. Let it go. That's it.
Interior, Lennox house, night. Darla is watching the bank of screens, now filled with Sammy's face.
I don't know why there has to be so much pain.
Interior, Sammy's house, night. Sammy's phone is ringing. She walks downstairs to answer it apprehensively. Interior, Lennox house, night. Darla's sweaty, emotionless face stares at the screen. She lifts up a pomegranate in one hand.
I don't know why there has to be so much pain.
Interior, Sammy's house, night. The phone is still ringing. He isn't sure he wants to answer it. Interior, Lennox house, night. Darla takes a knife and cuts into the big, juicy pomegranate. Interior, Sammy's house, night. He screams in pain and doubles over. There is blood on his hand. As he tries to stand up, Darla pulls open the pomegranate, revealing the tiny berries inside. She bites into the berries. The red juice squirts all over her mouth and chin. Sammy screams again. Darla tosses the mangled pomegranate over her shoulder, and Sammy flies back out of frame. Blood is splattered all over his room. Interior, hospital corridor, day. Alex and John are sitting with Sammy's children in a small lounge area. A doctor approaches and whispers to Alex.
Can we talk?
Alex, John, and Doctor move out of earshot of the children.
He's still hemorrhaging. We've slowed it down, but
Is he going to be all right?
if we can figure out what the hell it is, I think we have a chance.
Can we see him?
He's still in a lot of pain. I can't give him anything too strong until we know what we're dealing with, but okay, go ahead.
Interior, hospital room, day. Sammy is lying in bed. He is extremely weak and obviously in great pain. Alex and John come into the room.
Buddy, we talked to the doctor. Gonna be fine.
He doesn't know what's going on. I'm pregnant.
So am I. Alex?
Son of a bitch.
Sammy screams in pain.
Make her stop, please. Just make her stop.
Exterior, Lennox house, night. Alex's car races up up the drive and screeches to a halt. Alex gets out and marches up to the front door. He doesn't knock. He pushes the doors open and walks in boldly and deliberately into interior, Lennox house, night. Fatima approaches Alex.
Just back off, Fatima. Darla. Darla!
Interior, living room, night. Darla has an ironing board set up in front of the stairs. Next to her feet is a basket full of clothes. In front of her on the steps is a small portable television on which an episode of The Price is Right is playing. Alex barges into the room. He stops, surprised by the sight of Darla and the ironing board.
Alex, honey, what a nice surprise. How are you?
She continues ironing and watching the TV.
The hell you think you're doing?
Oh, just a little housework. I was just sending the shirts out, but Jesus, they were coming back in pieces. Small town. Not enough Orientals. And Fatima's all thumbs of this kind of thing, so that leaves little old me.
I'm not talking about your goddamn laundry, Darla. I'm talking about Sammy and John and me.
Golly, you boys are sure having a hard time, aren't you?
Alex switches off the TV.
Sammy is very ill.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Then do something about it.
Me? What can I do about it? I mean, it doesn't really have anything to do with me anymore, does it?
Yes, it does. You know it does.
No, I don't. All I know is that one day we were friends, and the next day I was shut out. That's all I know. 1 minute I was the answer to your prayers, and 5 minutes later, no one would give me the time of day.
Sammy could die. Don't you understand that?
I can't help that.
Yes, you can. Don't lie to me, Darla.
You deserted me. We had a deal and you walked out on it.
That's no reason.
Yes, it is. You pissed me off. What was I supposed to do? Take it like a woman? Christ, I gave you everything I got. I gave you more than anyone's ever given you. And what do I get? A little thank you? A little gratitude? I'll tell you what I get. I get screwed.
Look, cut the crap, okay? Just tell me, what do you want from us?
Darla explodes, throwing the ironing board across the room.
I want someone to do these shirts. That's what I want. I want a little attention. I want a little respect. I want somebody to take care of me for a change, huh? How about that? What do I want? What does any woman want? A little affection, a little trust. God damn it. Everything I did for you.
She calms down, then sort of sadly.
Well, I was wrong. Go on. Go back to your miserable little lives. Go on. If that's what you want, that's what you get. You're not the only 3 men in the world.
Alex goes to her. He takes her hand, then gently.
You're hurting people, Darla. That stuff you did for us, it was great, but you can't use your power to hurt people. Don't you understand that?
No, I just want my family together. That's all. You and John and Sammy. I couldn't hurt Sammy. I wouldn't hurt any of you. How could I do that? I love you.
You don't know what love is.
I could learn. You could teach me. How hard could it be? Oh, Alex, let's not fight. There's no way you can win. There just isn't. And there's nothing to go back to if you could win. Can't we put all this behind us and be friends?
She kisses him.
There, isn't that nice? Tell the truth. You missed me a little bit, huh?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, come on. Let's kiss and make it all better, huh? What do you say?
Alex looks at her a long time. Then he takes her into his arms.
What are we gonna do with you?
Interior, hospital room, Sammy and John, night. Sammy is in the hospital bed. John is almost asleep in the chair. Sammy sits up suddenly in bed. He feels his stomach.
It stopped.
Exterior, Lennox house, night. Darla's limo pulls up to the front door. Fatima gets out, comes around, and opens the door for the passengers. Alex, Sammy, and John get out of the car. They look handsome. They are wearing black evening suits. Their hair is perfect. Darla greets each of them with a kiss, finishing with Sammy.
Hi.
You look gorgeous.
Thank you.
Feeling better?
Much better now. Everything's going to be much better now.
Interior, Darla's bathroom, night. Darla is looking at herself with multiple mirrors, one in each hand, making sure she looks fabulous from every angle. Satisfied, she enters the bedroom and grins ear to ear. Splayed out all over the bed are the 3 men in various states of undress, posing seductively. Exterior, Lennox house, morning. Fatima is waiting with the Mercedes. Darla comes out of the house feeling mellow and completely satiated and looking like the cat that swallowed 3 canaries. Fatima opens the car door for her.
We're going to town, Fatima. The boys have a craving for bagels and ice cream.
Before she gets into the car, she looks at the upstairs window, at which the 3 men are waving to her and smiling. She blows them 3 kisses and hops into the car. Fatima closes the door, gets into the driver's seat, and the car pulls away. The 3 men stop waving. Their smiles fade. They watch as the car pulls away. They look at each other, and then they disappear from the window. Interior, study, day. Sammy races down the hall and into the study, where he finds a leather-bound tome titled Maleficio. He pulls it out of its glass case. Interior, bathroom, day. John flips over one of Darla's hand mirrors, picks up her brush, and pulls her hair from the bristles into the glass. Interior, kitchen, day. Alex grabs a giant saucepan, puts it on the stove, and lights a fire under it. Then he takes some candles and chops them into pieces with a large butcher knife. Then he dumps the pieces into the saucepan. Sammy and John put everything they collected into a fry pan, including some feathers from the pillow and a photo of Darla. They squirt charcoal barbecue lighter all over everything, and then they set fire to it. It scares the hell out of them. Slightly later, Alex is molding the wax into a figure of a woman. Sammy hands him ashes from the burnt contents of the frying pan.
Just 3 pinches.
Alex puts 3 pinches of the ashes into the figurine. Interior, deli, day. Darla is talking to the woman behind the counter.
Dozen bagels, half-pound of Gravlax, and what kind of ice cream do you have?
No ice cream. Freezer's broken.
No ice cream. Well, I'll just take the bread and the fish.
Interior, Lennox house, kitchen, day. Alex is carving the wax into a doll as John and Sammy watch and assist. Using a small paring knife, she carves out a waist and a neck, and then a head and legs and arms. The crumble falls onto a paper towel under the doll.
It doesn't look like her.
Doesn't have to look exactly like her. We know who it is.
We should have saved a little hair for her head. She looks funny with no hair.
This isn't going to hurt her, is it?
We're not trying to hurt her, John. We're just trying to send her away.
John, come on.
Exterior, deli, day. Darla comes out and gives her packages to Fatima.
No ice cream. Imagine that. I'm going to see if I can't get some. You go shopping.
Darla walks off down the street, bouncing a little ball. Interior, Lennox house, kitchen, day. Alex holds the old book. The doll is in front of them with very large, erect breasts.
And I said, a tall, dark princess traveling under a curse.
Somebody nice.
Somebody you could talk to.
Interior, ice cream shop, day. Darla is making her choice.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'd like some pistachio. That's pistachio, isn't it?
Yeah.
Interior, Lennox house, kitchen, day. The men hold a needle above the effigy of Darla. Alex stabs it through the leg. Interior, ice cream shop, day.
Great. And some chocolate chip and...
She yelps in pain and grabs her leg.
Are you okay?
No, my leg is...
Another pain, this time in her arm.
Jesus Christ, what is it?
Darla punches through the glass cooler and shoves her hand into a tub of ice cream.
Hey, what's the matter?
Darla can't answer, and then the pain subsides. Darla is gasping for breath.
Are you like having a heart attack?
Interior, Lennox house, day. The men rip open a down pillow. They drop some of the goose feathers from Darla's pillow onto the doll. Exterior, street, day. Darla is limping slightly down the middle of the street holding 2 tubs of ice cream. Suddenly, her left arm goes numb and she drops the tub. Then she gags. Something is in her mouth. She chokes and spits, and as she does, the feathers start to come out of her mouth. She looks at the feathers and realizes what is happening.
Boys, what are you doing?
Interior, Lennox house, day. They lean over and blow the feathers off the doll. Exterior, street, day. Darla is still spitting feathers with a fierce wind suddenly blows up around her. Darla is knocked to the ground. She struggles to stand up, but the wind is of hurricane force and it literally blows her down the street. She slides down the street and across the green right into interior, church, day. Darla is as surprised as we are to see where she is. A service is still in progress until the great wind blew through the doors. Darla turns to face the wind. Summoning up all of her strength, she pushes the doors closed. The wind pounds at the building, but for a moment, Darla has escaped it. She catches her breath. She is bruised badly. Her clothing is torn and shredded, and she is still hurting from the pain of the pins. Finally, she takes in the terrified congregation. She pulls out a feather from her mouth.
Sorry, having a little trouble at home. A little domestic problem. Nothing to be alarmed at. A little male problem. That's it. That's all. Hi.
She laughs as she moves unsteadily up the aisle. The congregation continues to move away from her. She doubles over suddenly, gags, opens her mouth, and a stream of cherry pits come vomiting out of it. The congregation is horrified. Darla recovers.
Don't pay any attention. Cheap trick. Anybody can do it. I taught it to them. Ungrateful little pricks, aren't they? Let me ask you something. You're all church-going folk. Let me ask you, do you think God knew what she was doing when she created man? Huh? No shit. I want to know. Do you think she knew, or do you think it was another of her minor mistakes, like tidal waves, earthquakes, floods? Do you think men are like that?
She gags and spits out more feathers and cherries. The wind roars outside the church. Darla is having a harder time recovering from these fits and attacks.
What's the matter? You don't think God makes mistakes? Of course she does. We all make mistakes. Of course, we make mistakes and they call it evil. When God makes mistakes, they call it nature. So what do you think, men? A mistake? Or did she do it to us on purpose? I'd really like to know. If it's a mistake, maybe we could do something about it. Find a cure, a vaccine, build up the immune system, Get a little exercise, 20 push-ups a day and you'll never be afflicted with men ever again.
An excruciating pain pierces her brain. She grabs her head, falls over, and convulses. Interior, kitchen, day. The men pull out the pins from the doll.
All right, that's it.
How do we know if it worked?
I guess we just wait and see.
Oh my God. Look at this place.
He tosses the doll onto the counter. Exterior, church, day. Darla comes outside growling and runs to the car. Darla gets in and the car pulls away through the debris and the chaos left from the hurricane. Interior, kitchen, day. The women are cleaning up all the feathers and tossing the doll around. Interior, limo, day. Darla reacts to the toss and swerves all over the road. Interior, kitchen, day. John drops the doll onto the counter. Darla reacts. Alex accidentally shoves it into the sink. Darla swerves out of control into a barrier, almost hitting a cyclist. Sammy pulls it out, but the dog fights for the doll and he winds up throwing it across the counter. Darla flies back through the car, smashing out the back window. The car is driverless and swerving at high speed as Darla hangs out head first off the rear of the Mercedes. She manages to pull herself back inside and take control. The men hear her racing across the lawn and throw the doll into a cookie jar. They run back upstairs and sit in the TV room as if nothing happened. Darla shambles up the stairs, cracks her neck, and grips the door handle with a demonic-looking hand. The men see her at the other end of the hall and are shocked at her appearance. She looks like she has been run over by a truck.
The doll.
The men leap up and run out the side door as Darla unleashes a mighty bellow. The gust of wind blows through the door and tosses the men down the stairs at the other side. John nearly goes flying down into the ballroom, but he catches a rail at the last second. Sammy and Alex try to grab his hands, but he slips and falls. The two begin laughing.
John, laugh!
He does, and the laughter causes him to float like before, just inches from the floor. The men meet him at the bottom just as Darla appears at the railing above. They run down the hallway and back into the kitchen with her right at their heels. Before Darla can reach them, Alex pulls the doll out of the cookie jar and tosses it to Sammy. This sends Darla flying back through the doorway and down the hall. Alex and Sammy slam the door and brace it. Sammy throws the doll to John, but it slips and lands on the ground, breaking into pieces. Suddenly, the banging on the door stops. They all look to each other and pick up the 3 pieces. Just then, there is an otherworldly noise from outside, and a gargantuan, fleshy monster with Darla's face appears outside the kitchen window. She smashes through and tosses them across the room, causing bottles of alcohol to spill and ignite with stove pilot lights. Demon Darla reaches her long, freakish neck through the window. Unfazed, the men pick up the pieces of the wax doll in unison and casually toss them into the fire. Darla screams. Her misshapen mouth goes wide and distorts. She stands up and seems to explode into dust. But when the men cautiously walk up to the window, they instead see a small floating caterpillar-like thing with baby Darla's face. She looks up at them while cooing softly and then disappears with a comical pop. Interior, Lennox house, bathroom, 18 months later. 3 baby girls play in the tub. One has blonde hair like Sammy, another has red hair like John, and the third has dark hair like Alex.
Come here, you.
The men take them out of the tub and change them.
What a big girl.
Look at Fatima. What does she have for you?
Fatma is shaking a little baby toy and smiling creepily while wearing an old-fashioned nanny outfit. Interior, Lennox house, pool, day. The men are coloring in books with the babies, while their other children are swimming. Alex looks at John, reading his thoughts.
John, stop it.
What?
Just stop it.
I can think about her if I want to.
Not when the 3 of us are together.
I know, but I can't help it. I miss her. I do. And you do too. Admit it.
Okay, I admit it. But do you want her back?
No answer. They remain lost in the question. Interior, Lennox house, later. Fatima is playing on a small piano as the babies wheel themselves around the house. They are all drawn to the TV room, which has different channels playing on each screen. Each screen is slowly replaced by the image of the smiling face of Darla Van Horn. The babies giggle with delight.
Shh, take it easy. We don't want the whole household in here, do we? That's it. Good girls. We're going to do just fine. Now, Come to mommy. Come on. Come to mommy.
Darla laughs. The children think about it. Suddenly, Darla's smile fades. Standing behind the children are John, Alex, and Sammy. In Sammy's hand is the remote control.
Oh, fellas, come on.
Sammy holds up the remote and pushes the power button. Darla's disappointed face disappears. Black. The end.
The end.
Woo!
It's really weird.
Oh my god.
So,
Wow. Yeah.
how's it feel now with the genders reversed? A little
So weird.
weird.
I feel
mean, it
like
was
an
weird
investigation
anyway.
would have happened as to why 3 men were pregnant.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I'm really
They're
glad we
living up
kept
at the
that.
mansion probably, and the town hates them, so they probably don't go into town.
Yeah. Oh my god, that was so fun.
What a weird movie.